I see two hands come up out of the cockpit, out of the companionway hatch, and set down two 20-ounce red, I'll never forget the color, beer cups. And up pops Carl with an open bottle of Louis Latour, which he proceeds to basically empty between the two cups, and the morning was started. Carl had rooted around and found the senator's stash, a very nice French woman. So we cruised along, we got through, we were in, I think, the middle of Woods Hole. Again, hammer still down, and all of a sudden we smell smoke. Lift up the hatches, and the handmade fiberglass repair to the exhaust system had caught on fire. Not a good thing to burn up the senator's boat, we didn't think. So, first the bucket came out, and with a lanyard on it, we bailed water in and poured it to keep the fire down, because we still had to keep going. And sooner or later, Carl passed the bucket back over the outside, and of course the handle rips out of the bucket's gone. It's a couple of bottles of spring water, those were quickly gone, and then it was very carefully pouring the Louis Latour to keep the fire out.
Where are you supposed to cycle
anyway, so that's my cruising story. Two of them. Anyway, so there weren't many other ones. So anyway, so I got a question. Think about your answers here, because it's important. I have some questions, and more importantly, I have some swag.
Yay.
Those of you, anybody know what swag? Does anybody not know the meaning of swag? Swag is free stuff you get at things like this. It's what we in the business live for. Okay, so trying to think where to start with this one. Okay, I think a cruise-only question. There's only crews answering. There's new crews that are on this thing, okay? What is the meaning of what is meant by sailing on a headed tack? Nah, you're not a crew.
The unfavored tack. You're not the favorite tack.
You're not a crew either.
Not a lifted tack?
Okay. Right, that's exactly right. I mean, it's when you're sailing upwind and the wind has shifted, that you're now bearing away from where you're trying to get to, whereas were you to tack, you would be on the lifted tack and going closer and sailing on the shorter board, as we say. Okay. Okay, question number 2, open to anybody who answers. Okay, except this guy. Give him a chance to look. Well, I know what he knows, or some of what he knows. Anyway. At a speed of 2 knots, how far do you travel in a minute? Approximately. I want it in feet. How many feet do you travel in?
200.
Oh, sorry. That goes back to him. I wasn't correct. Sorry, I'm sorry. You get to get the next one.
Oh, it's crazy.
You guys can deal with that. Okay. Next is
New hat.
yeah, just over 208 or something like that. It's not much. But it's a significant, I mean, it's, you don't think about it in terms of how far you're moving in a minute until you approach the starting line. So, what I was going to talk about first, I'm going to try to get through this, and this is, I'm a little technologically challenged, so please bear with me. We have our IT guy here. Keep us on track. Anyway, so what I was going to talk about is some of the earlier design methods and tools that we've used in sailmaking, and some of, in that basically also leads into some of the challenges that the small or medium-sized lofts have, okay, in maintaining being competitive, both in terms of performance market-wise, which I'm not getting into dollars or figures here whatsoever, but in order to stay in business in this economy and, you know, basically where we came from a little bit. And how can you still keep building a product in the United States, which is not so easy anymore, but some of us are still doing it. Anyway, in the pre-70s, sailcloth was all usually very, very soft. It was cotton, there was Orlon, nylons, rayons were tried. Early Dacrons started, came, I guess, out of World War II and became, or post-World War II, and started to become the standard sail material. Looms were all very narrow. The standards, what you've heard of, is a sailmaker's yard of cloth, okay, is based on 36 inches long, but a 28.5-foot wide, or 28.5-inch wide piece of material. And that was because all of the looms were limited, that were suitable for sailcloth production in that day, were basically limited to that width. And that's where someone, if you actually put a piece of a 9 square foot piece of sailcloth, it doesn't weigh anywhere near, you know, what the quote sailmaker's size is. So that's sort of always been a little weird thing with sail weight. Generally design, because the materials were